see you. On behalf of Venatour, welcome. As Cooch said, I'm Sean Holley. It's wonderful to be part of Venatour again. Comes around every 4 years. Well, in my book, it's every 2 years because we have a Lions as well in between. It's great to see so many familiar faces. Some people I haven't seen for 4 years since Japan. 8 years, some people, New Zealand. But it's great to see you and wonderful to have you back with Venatour. If I haven't met you before on a Venatour trip, why not? If you're first-time Venatour customers coming to the World Cup, really look forward to seeing you. Welcome. Having a great time out there in France. What a World Cup we're in for. Japan was fantastic, wasn't it, Rob? It was amazing. What a trip. And the Venatour trip was obviously the best, obviously. But it was amazing. The country was, and every World Cup is. Every World Cup is different. This will be exactly the same. It's only across the water. And of course now, speaking on behalf of the home nations, Wales and England are real underdogs. So we like it like that. And we're going to find out a little bit more about how our home nations are going to do from the legends that we have amongst us. The first Q&A we're going to do before food, we couldn't have two better guys, all right? They're both from countries that are on either end of the world rankings at the moment in terms of the top 10. One is 10th and one is 1st. But that doesn't matter. They were both exceptional players, electric players, lit up the pitch for country and the British and Irish Lions. From Wales and the British and Irish Lions, we have Shane Williams, and from Ireland and the British and Irish Lions, Geordan Murphy. There they are, two legends of the game. Boys, thanks very much for affording us the time here. George, I know it's your wife's birthday today. Dedication's what you need. And Shane's doing an Ironman on Sunday. I know, silly bugger. You know, he's fitter now than when I coached him. But boys, thanks very much for coming. George, yeah, I'm going to come to you first because Ireland are #1 in the world rankings. The World Cup is already sewn up.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, to be quite honest with you, Sean. It's the way things are looking for Ireland. Potentially, we could have peaked too early again. You know, you're in a group where Ireland play. Group A is the group of death. For those of you who don't know, Ireland play Tonga first up. Obviously, Tonga, we know, will put some serious hits in, some serious physicality. When you play those guys, they'll damage you. They've got a game against Romania. And then they have to go back-to-back against South Africa, who suddenly look like they've peaked at the right time. Absolutely pummeling New Zealand in Twickenham the other night. They looked like they've just risen up the rankings in regards to being favourites. And then, you know, that game will be incredibly physical. And then after that, you've got to play Scotland. And the way the draw has been made, Scotland play South Africa in their first pool game. And I'm sure Geach is here. Sir Ian, legend of the game, will sort of say Scotland are really targeting that game. I know Gregor Townsend's been down to the Melbourne Storm, the team who have the best sort of record of starting tournaments with wins, and he's basically saying we're really targeting South Africa in that first game. And if Scotland don't win that game, which I don't think they will, I think South Africa will be just a little bit too physical for them. That last pool game for Ireland is going to be just tooth and nail. It's just going to be a battle. So if you manage to get through that, you get to play against France or New Zealand. So it's not really great, to be quite honest. I'd much rather be on the other side of the pool, where you could be English and play against Argentina. And even if you lose, you'll probably get through to play against my lovely Welsh brethren, or Fiji if they beat Wales. It could be Fiji or Australia, who are both. You know, I think England will be in a semi-final of a World Cup. I think English fans will be very happy with that, even though the rugby they're playing at the minute is appalling, and they don't like to know what they're doing. But you know, you could get to I said to someone earlier on, you could get to England could get to a semi-final of a World Cup and play a team like Ireland, who've played a battle against Tonga, a battle against South Africa, a battle against Scotland, a battle against France or New Zealand, and you get to play England in a semi. And I think, you know what, you wouldn't put it past England just spawning one game, being in a World Cup final, and everyone will be very happy, other than the Irish and the Welsh.
Shades of 2007, where England didn't play that good. We'll have more from the English contingent later on. Shane, moving on to Wales. We've been really clever in Wales. We've sort of played in the last 3 semi-finals of World Cups, but we've tactically got ourselves really shit at the moment. Put ourselves in the good half of the draw, so let England win at Twickenham, and we're right under the radar. But now we've got to play Fiji, who've just beaten England, and you've got, well, not so fond memories of playing Fiji in a World Cup.
Yeah, it's tactical, isn't it? You have a poor Six Nations, shit all through the warm-up games, and then hit the ground running. That usually works pretty well for Wales. Unfortunately, in 2007, we played some cracking rugby up until the World Cup, and then we were shit in the World Cup, and unfortunately played against Fiji, and they sent us packing. The funny thing about the Fiji game, well, it's not funny actually, to be fair. Our coach got sacked, and it was the worst day of my life. But I remember going home from France, having lost to Fiji, getting off the plane to go home, obviously, with our tails between our legs, and then all our family members getting on the plane to go to Marseille for the quarterfinals, because we'd already booked a place in the quarterfinals. So Fiji had a lot of Welsh fans on the stadium that day. But oh look, it's Welsh rugby hasn't been a good place for the last couple of years. I'd like to think there's a change afoot with the WRU kind of sort themselves out, and the regions and so on and so forth, and the grassroots rugby. But yeah, it's tough. It is tough. Certainly, having played against Fiji before and seeing what they're capable of, and looking at them now, they're 10 times the team they were in 2007, which scares the life out of me, to be honest with you. They have a couple of the best players, individual best players in the world. I think Simon Rowlooney's done a great job in organising them as a team and as a squad. The set piece looks better.
You fucking kidding me? You see that line out against England?
Yeah.
I could have been in that line out one more ball than the Fijians did. Yeah. It was literally pot luck. They were throwing bowling balls in.
Yeah, but did you see the fucking Welsh line out? So it was even worse. But they're organised. They're far more organised. There's structure to their game. Obviously, discipline is always gonna kind of be an issue for Fiji, because they think a low tackle is up here somewhere. But that may come into factor. But look, they are some team, and we're worried about Fiji. We've got a couple of other big games. Australia and Georgia beat us not long ago either, so we're fucked basically. Mind my language, ladies.
To be fair, Shane, a tackle up there on you is round the shorts on most people, so we got to credit the Fijians there.
Fair enough.
Jordy, give everybody here a bit of an idea of being at a World Cup. All of us here, we're going out there. I mentioned Japan, France different, but the fervour, the atmosphere and that, what does that mean to the players? It's hotel, it's flight, it's bus journey and that, but at the games and in and around training and the build-up, it's something special, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I think, similar to any sort of touring team, it's something that the players look forward to internationally. I think we were both very lucky to represent the British and Irish Lions, but just aside from that, when you get to tour with the guys you play with, season in, season out, and you're sort of having a look, and you come to the World Cup season, and everyone wants to get there. Everyone's desperate to get selected. They want to put in your best games. You want to get selected in the Six Nations, because you're going to have limited opportunities to show yourself after that. And it's an amazing experience. I very unluckily missed out on my first World Cup in 2003. I sort of played 2 of the warm-up games, and I was told by Eddie O'Sullivan at the time, you're a shoo-in, you can tell your family booked their flights to Australia, and I did. Had sort of numerous family members on our way down to that tournament, and I wasn't due to play in the last warm-up game against Scotland, and managed to, one of the guys got broken, and sort of the week before I got called in, 20 minutes into the game, I managed to put both bones in my left leg, through my shin, and it wasn't very nice. It was pretty horrible. Sort of I had a new joint where my sort of just below my knee, it kind of was going the other way, and I could see my studs facing me. So it was particularly graphic. And the only bit of dark humour I have is that the doctor at the time, Gary O'Driscoll, who's Brian's cousin, and he's the current Arsenal director of medicine, he came running on the field, and I said to him, "Doc, I've broken my leg," and he said, "No, you're probably fine. We're going on Monday. Let me have a look. I think you've just twisted your ankle." And I said, "No, Doc, I've broken my leg." And he said, "You've never broken your leg before. Why would you think that?" And I said, so I took my hands away, and you could see both of my bones poking through my sock. And he started panicking and screamed for a stretcher. He said, "Stretcher, stretcher." So I said, "I fucking told you I broke my leg." So yeah, that was probably the disappointment, and I think you probably see that sometimes in the final warm-up game. I don't know if that was a factor in New Zealand, South Africa, or if it was a factor in obviously England against Fiji. But guys are desperate. They get to that last game and they're desperate not to get injured. Certainly saw it against Scotland and Georgia. First half, Scotland Georgia. Scotland didn't want to run into contact. They were trying to throw the ball around, run around the edge. It was very much, oh, don't tackle me. And I think they probably got a royal bollocking at half time, and they sort of started to front up in the second half and managed to put Georgia away. But guys are desperate to go. It's an amazing event, amazing opportunity. You know, you go, you're in each other's pockets for quite a long time, and can get frustrating, but the coaches manage it quite well. You know, you're training, you're up back after training, everything's looked after. There's some great sort of socials that you can have and do, and sort of generally the red carpet is rolled out wherever you go. So it's just an amazing experience.
I want to come back to you on the Irish form at the moment and how it's been in the last couple of years. Shane, Wales, all jokes aside, I mean, 2003, ladies and gentlemen, we had a restructure in Welsh rugby. We had regional rugby. I became the coach of a team called the Ospreys. And the prodigy, the best player that everybody wanted was Shane Williams. We had him. And Steve Hansen, who became New Zealand All Blacks coach, he didn't pick Shane in the initial World Cup squad. So we had Shane all summer now training. I'm so excited as a young coach to have Shane playing for the Ospreys. During the World Cup, we got some big games. And the last week of the pre-season, the bastard called Shane up as the third choice scrum half for Wales in the 2003 World Cup. And if you remember back to that 2003, some team in white won it, I remember. But
only because I broke my leg.
Yeah, but Shane lit up that World Cup, played New Zealand and then played England, run England really close in the quarter-final. So all jokes aside, Shane, with the form of Wales and England, anything can happen. It's a new tournament, you know. As Geordie said, you're together. You know, momentum can build. If Wales nudge that first win against Fiji, anything can happen.
Yeah, the tournament, you know, it's come around 4 years. It's come so quick, isn't it? But the problem is, once the tournament starts, it's over in a blink of an eye as well. And it's the same for the players. It's, you know, the games are going to come thick and fast. Players are going to get injured. There's going to be, you know, if you lose a bit of form in a World Cup, straight away you're looking at being knocked out before the pool stages. And anything can happen in a Rugby World Cup. Certainly in 2003. You know, we were, as a Welsh team, we were written off before going there. Italy, and we had Canada, and we kind of pushed our way through. Had the All Blacks last game of the pool stage, and I had the opportunity to play my first game. I was the only player not to have played a second of rugby. We go out there and we absolutely tore New Zealand to pieces. We absolutely battered them. You know, we were throwing the ball around, we were scoring tries for fun, put 30 odd points on the All Blacks. Granted, we forgot that we had to defend and they scored 50 odd or whatever it was, but you know, forgot the score in the end, and we go to a quarter-final. We really put England to the sword, nearly beat them in the quarter-final there, and then England go on and win the World Cup. That's the tight margins there is in a World Cup. You know, you can lose your first game, you can lose a couple of games, but you can still go on and get to a World Cup final. France have done it. France have done it and nearly won it. You know, in 2011. So, you know, even though your form going into World Cup might not be the best, as soon as you kind of find your feet and you get that momentum going, you know, you're capable of winning it, certainly. And it's no different this time along. There are a couple of favourites to win it. Ireland will be up there. France, New Zealand, South Africa, all of a sudden come into the flow. Where were they in the championship? New Zealand were dead certs to win the World Cup and the championship. Next thing you know, South Africa put 30 points on. It is that tight at the top. You get to the pool stage, you're in through the pool stage, you're in the quarter-final, and you're a point or two away from a semi-final, and before you know it, you might be in the World Cup final. That's what a World Cup's all about, and that's why it's so exciting, and it's the best competition in the world.
And let's add to the mix, which I'm sure I'm going to talk about with the English guys, red cards, potentially. You know, no, all jokes aside, it's part of our game now, and Taufamina, the second row for France, got red card against Wales and Japan in the quarters. Yeah. Wales went on to win and got to a semi-final. Jody, let's go to Ireland. They're number one in the world for a reason. They are superb. You know, they're so enjoyable to watch, Ireland, aren't they? The rugby they play, Leinster have been phenomenal, both in Europe and the URC. Munster have come back strong, won the URC last year. Ulster are always strong. You have to say that the mix is right. This could be the time.
Very much so, and I really hope it is. You know, I like to play it down a little bit because obviously we have an incredibly difficult task. But I think Ireland got a lot of things right years ago. You know, the provincial system is really working. The school system, you go and watch schoolboys play at under 18s level. They're playing the Irish system, so you know they're used to it. They know how to play winning rugby. They know how to play pressure rugby. You know, they kick the ball. Ireland kick the ball as much as England do. But they kick at the right times. They manipulate the backfield so the ball's bouncing. They're good enough to play 2-3 passes to kick and sort of move fullbacks, move wingers so the ball's bouncing. It's smart. It's not just I'm being told to kick because kicking wins games. It's out game awareness of you kick to space and you put pressure on, and that's what big games are won by. So you know, I thought Ireland, and it doesn't sit well with me, but we deserve to be the #1 side in the world. You know, the way we've played in the Six Nations, the last 2 Six Nations, when Ireland went to New Zealand last summer, lost the first test, I thought, oh, here we go, this is where we fall off. And then they came back and they, you know, they went up against New Zealand, and New Zealand traditionally will really just try and physically beat you up. And they tried that, and they came back and they scored a try, and I thought, oh, this could be, you know, where Ireland aren't mentally there. But Andy Farrell, I must say, has just done an unbelievable job, because Ireland came back and just battered New Zealand into submission, won the second test and won the third test. So they're in a really, really strong place. There's probably injuries and red cards are the things that I'm worried about. Johnny Sexton is pivotal. They win a lot of games with him, even more so. Jamison Gibson Park at 9 is very, very key to what Ireland do. Conor Murray's probably a little bit older, a little bit slower in everything that he does. So if anything happens to a couple of key players, it's not great for Irish rugby. Losing Sheehan, the hooker, is big. He's just an exceptional player. So already we've had a few bumps and bruises, and I'm slightly concerned. I think it's the best chance we've ever had. Being completely honest, I see things happening a little bit differently. I see New Zealand beating France in the opening game, and I think Ireland will top the pool but play against France in a quarter-final of the World Cup, and I don't think we'll get past France in a quarter in France. I see France-New Zealand being the final as well. So as much as my heart wants Ireland just to get through to a semi-final, to a final, and you know, come on with the trophy, I think the country will probably erupt. It's just incredibly difficult, and it's incredibly unfair the way the seedings and the rankings have been done 3 years ago, to put sort of the top 5 seeds in one side of the pool. It's really unfortunate, because we want to see those big knockout games back end of the tournament. But there's going to be some cracking games, you know, starting Fiji, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Ireland, South Africa, New Zealand, France. There's just some big games that are going to be played. So it's going to be a hell of a tournament. I'm so excited. By the way, I know I've probably taken everything down there by talking Ireland's chances down, and I hope I'm very, very wrong. But it's just so exciting to see how many great games there are.
Big games, yeah. Don't forget England-Chile, massive game, that one. To finish second in that pool. I'm kidding. Shane, always, you know, in World Cups, in big tournaments, some players come to the fore. We mentioned young Dan Sheehan there. He's been superb. Ireland will miss him. Wales, a lot of unfamiliar names, a lot of retirements. Alan Wynne-Jones, Justin Tipuric has finished. Ken Owen's not there, likely to retire. And even though we've got a lot of England fans and maybe Scotland, Ireland, you know, we will have an eye on the other home nations while we're out there, no doubt. Who are the people to look out for the Welsh squad in this up-and-coming World Cup?
Yeah, I think it's been forced upon us, hasn't it? A lot of the experienced players that, you know, were probably told they were too old to play for Wales again have kind of retired. But at the same time, yours needs that experience to go in on a tour like this. However, it's forced Wales into choosing youngsters, a lot of youngsters, still with a bit of experience, and I think that's great. Do I think we've got a squad that can win the World Cup 2023? Possibly not. But it puts us in good stead for the future and the next World Cup, so on and so forth. And a lot of those good players are playing well at the moment. The likes of Rio Dyer on the wing, he's been overlooked. He's you know, whenever a Welsh team has been picked, it's always been Josh Adams, Lewis Rhys-Samet, Liam Williams or Halfpenny, and I thought he was probably one of the better players in the autumn games. And he has a go. He's gutsy. Yes, he has things to work on. He's not the biggest of players, but that's, you know, that's not a problem. Especially with the new tackle laws, no one's going to be able to tackle him because he's only 5'7". But you know, we do have very, very good players coming through. You know, big one for me. There's 2 big ones. Dewi Lake I think he was always going to be the future Welsh captain. Very vocal in training, big, tough, hard man, carries the ball hard, and leads from the front. And it's good to see that he's had a couple of horrible injuries and he's come back. Had a niggly injury again, but he's back training. Looking forward to seeing him play. But a big one for me is a local lad to me, Jack Morgan. Was also a co-captain with Dewi. You know, it wasn't long ago Wayne Pivac was looking at him and going, oh, this kid's just not big enough, he's not physical enough. And everyone in Wales is scratching their head going, this boy is probably the best player in the URC at the moment, not Welsh. Out of all the URC players, he's the most consistent, he's very rarely injured, he's quiet but he does all his talking on the field, and he's bounced back with a vengeance, and I think he's been superb the last 24 months. Local lad to me. I was in class with his mother as well, which makes me feel even freaking older.
Some questions. What height is he?
Yeah.
He's short as well, isn't he? And,
He's only about
that's what I
5'8".
mean. Too short to play for Wales. You know, me and his mother did get close, but not that close. And I was only 11. I didn't even know what it was when I was 11, to be fair. So. But you know, thoroughly deserved what he's done, and you know, all of a sudden he's a captain of Wales. That's just Wales for you. It's incredible. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see where these youngsters go. I just hope they go to this World Cup. Don't hold anything back. Just give it their best. You know, and what will be will be. And I think sprinkled with experience, you know, they can give it their best. But I'm quite excited because we've had a shit 2 years in Wales when it comes to rugby. Whether it's international, people moaning about grassroots, the regions are crap, you know, let's do this WIU and all the politics and shit that comes with that. Let's just have a good World Cup where Wales give it their best, and let's see what happens.
And I think with that, I think Warren Gatland is an incredibly astute guy, and he really instills a lot of belief in teams, and belief, and you know, certainly having been in teams that he coached against, they're in a really great setup. But I think one of the things that Wales will do is inspire. And if they try and play rugby and try and inspire, people will want to watch and people will want to do that. And I think the rugby teams have an obligation to do that. With the game in such a dangerous place, it's a crime to be not playing rugby and doing the things that make it a great sport. You know, to rely on your teammates, to pass to each other, to run, to try and score tries. It's criminal to not do that. So I think Wales will inspire, and I think I think Gats is the right man to lead that team, that young team, instill that little bit of belief in them, and I hope they do really well.
Yeah. I'm going to draw this to a bit of a close. I'm going to come to some predictions, but Jody, you're a coach now. You're not coaching at the moment. What would you be saying? I don't want an Andy Farrell speech. I want a Jordan Murphy. What would you be saying to these Irish guys now to make them believe in the way they play and the way they go about themselves that they can win this World Cup?
Oh, they're the number 1 side in the world. I think, you know, that they deserve to be there, and I think they have that belief. They know how to win tough games. They've been in some tough games. You know, the last 2 Six Nations games against France have been 2 of the best games of rugby in the Northern Hemisphere. Not even the Northern Hemisphere, in the world that I've seen in the last couple of years. And I think that's one of the things that he needs to say. When I was a kid, when I was growing up, it was said, you know, you'll never catch New Zealand, you'll never catch Australia, you'll never catch South Africa. You know, they're too far ahead. Every time you take 1 step, they'll take a step ahead. They're always going to be ahead of you. That belief wasn't there. The Irish team now goes out every week and expects to win. It doesn't matter who they play. It didn't matter if they play an amalgamation of Australia, South Africa and New Zealand. They would expect to win that. They've got the winning mentality. They've got the winning habit. If they go out and play the game that Ireland can play, they will win. The physicality that Ireland have added to their game in the last sort of 6-8 years is probably par for the course with that. They've got just tremendous athletes in the back row and second row in particular, I don't think they need to say anything. I think the belief is there in the squad. I think it's just about managing it as go, managing that pressure. The pressure will come on because, you know, it's going to be incredibly difficult, and Ireland have never been past the quarterfinals. So there's a huge weight of expectation. Everyone in the world wants them to do well. Even, you know, you come to places like this, people go, God, you know, if our team can't win, we hope Ireland will do well. But that weight just adds. There's a huge monkey on our back that needs to come off at some stage, and I pray to God it's this year.
Prediction to win? One answer.
Yeah, I got to back them. To go.
Ireland to win, Joe.
Ireland to win. Yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going Ireland to win it.
Shane, we're going to finish on you. It's not a rugby question, although I will have a prediction. We've been on tour with Venatour since 2013, the inception, and we've had some pretty bloody amazing times. I've had to tuck you in, I've had to mop up after you. Bit of advice for everybody that's coming on this World Cup on a Venatour trip.
Good times, good times. And the fact that I'm looking quite slim at the moment. Yes, I have been training hard, but I also do realise I'm going away to a World Cup with ITV and Venatour for about 6 weeks, and I'll put on 2 stone. So I'm getting ahead of it. No, look, it's a great trip. It is a great trip. I've been lucky. I've been doing this a long time now, and I've been with Venatour. Well, it'll be 10 years, isn't it? 10 years. So they must be doing something right, because I do keep coming back. It's what's fantastic is that you know, it's like one team. It's like being in a rugby team on a rugby tour where we all help each other out. You know, we get to meet each other. There's still some faces here that were back in 2013 with me, and it's great to see you. But that just proves that how good a community it is, and how fantastic these things are. And I have fond memories of all the tours I've done. It's been great so far, and what I will say is, take plenty of money. Don't go on rounds with Al, and just enjoy yourself, because you will have the time of your life. It's for a lot of people, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Go out there, enjoy it, and come back, and you'll come back with a smiling face. I promise you. But see you on the ice, as Al and Sean used to say. It's going to be a great tournament, guys. I look forward to seeing you all.
Prediction to win, quick.
And the romantic in me is going to go France.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
How good was that, ladies and gents? The legendary John Murphy and Shane Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, food is served if you want to make your way out.